Hey everybody, welcome to another Noyz Boys.
Boys.
Tad, gotta ask you, start this whole episode off. What games you been playing recently?
Oh, what games have I been playing? This is an episode for the gamers out there. Well, Alex, I've been playing only the same two games I've been playing since 2011. I just checked my Steam before the episode here, just to check how much I've been playing. In the past 2 weeks, I've played 25 hours of Binding of Isaac and 5 hours of Dungeons of Dreadmore. All I've been playing is just those two games. I've been the past 2 weeks have been doubling down. My school bullshit is done for the semester on the 11th. So the day after that, May 12th, 2021, is the official start of White Boy Summer. As soon as White Boy Summer starts, I'm gonna do. I've had episodes I've been wanting to do for a long time. I've had a lot of fun ideas for stuff, but I can't really do an episode if I have to do so much extra schoolwork and all this other shit. So I've been doing a little bits here and there. But past 2 weeks, all I've been doing is playing those two games and nothing else because I do not have the time to do it.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned time. I've been super busy at my job too, because my job is not, it doesn't have to study and shit like you do with school, but when you walk around all day for 40 fucking hours a week, you get really fucking tired. So like when I get home from work, I'm not thinking, oh man, to do even more work for my next history podcast episode. I'm more just like, oh my fucking god, I don't want to do anything right now. I just like.
When was the last time you bought new shoes?
New shoes? Fucking 2 months ago actually. My shoes are actually relatively new.
Are you wearing shoes or are you wearing boots?
Shoes, the shoes.
Okay. So I was going to say, I wear boots for work, and they have steel toes, and I didn't really realize it because the only shoes I've been wearing for, months whenever I go out has been my work shoes. I went out hiking recently, and I just wore some whatever fuck you shoes. I didn't realize just how it was like. It's like Piccolo taking off the weights, I was like, holy shit, this is what walking feels like. I forgot.
No, it's not the shoes. It's just the amount of work, But like, it doesn't help that we've lost another guy, so I'm doing even more work than usual. That's a big part of it. But it's
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, how much? I guess this. I don't want to go inside baseball and ask you how much you make it work, but I imagine it's probably comparable to the 15, 16 an hour you can get from just being unemployed and being on the state's teat.
Fucking honestly, why am I not just doing that? Man, if I'm gonna get fucked over, I might as well get in the wage cage at Amazon and at least get paid 15 an hour. Fuck. If I'm gonna be a goon, I might as well get paid like one.
Today I was driving around doing stuff. Today is just the next 3 days are just study days. But I went and I got breakfast today, and Walmart is hiring, but they're forced to pay $17 an hour for people to work there because everyone in my area, I live in Illinois, so I don't know if maybe it's different out in Idaho. They are just like, oh, we cannot get anyone to work unless we pay over what they're getting. Joe and my younger brother, they've barely been looking for a job. They've been looking at places, but come on. They've been making about as much as I do by just being at home. It's fine. It's not taxed any more than what I make. They're able to do that. But even the McDonald's had on their sign that they're hiring for $12.50 an hour. Who the fuck works at McDonald's and makes $12.50 an hour? Only because of the pandemic. Places are super understaffed. I'll talk about it in a little bit, but me and Joe went to Six Flags last week, and that place is understaffed. But anyway, as you were saying, Alex, we'll talk about Six Flags later.
Well, what I was saying was that in the meantime, instead of doing research for the episodes, because I got a little done, I got this one episode cooking for another accurate history where it's halfway done. I'm just like, I'm so fucking tired. I have just been, and I went through an anime arc where I was trying to completely abandon all of my friends at all time, Tad included, just to focus on drawing more. And as people have seen, it did pay off a little bit. Just saying. So as I went through my little anime arc, and my friend Tad and another one, Ryan, put a gun to my head and forced me to hang out with them. Otherwise, I was a bad person.
Which is true.
I reluctantly started playing Apex Legends with the boys. It's been enjoyable to make that sound as backhanded as possible.
I did play another more recent game. I played, I think it was I don't know, it was like 2 weeks ago. The Jackbox Party Pack. I played the newest one. Alex, you've never played one, right? You've never played any of those?
I have played Jackbox with you on stream once.
I know, but I remember you saying there was like something that you just like, oh yeah, I've never played any of those. Maybe it was Joe. Maybe Joe has never played any.
No, granted, I've only played Jackbox like 3 entire times, counting that stream, so not much experience. So it's close enough. It's more like, I think you're supposed to be talking about like 7 or whatever. I said I haven't played like Jackbox 7.
I must have thought that they're like, oh, huh, okay.
Okay, let's talk about Jackbox really quick. I fucking hate Jackbox.
Which ones do you remember playing?
I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head. I remember some newer one I played. It had like Quiplash and shit. But I was hanging out with my associates, those people I reluctantly call my friends, and they were just ripping on me for like 2 straight hours with like Quiplash and shit. I'm just like, yeah, that was enjoyable. I'm never doing this again, by the way.
Yeah, those same people did that to me, and it's like, listen, you can do this with like if me and you were playing this game and I was ripping on you a bit, right? And then you were ripping on me, that there's an established friendship there. If you're ripping, like, let's say that just some random person from like the Discord joined, right? And they were just like, "Oh man, I'm bright. Fuck. I'm trying to. What was the name that you came up with for like the kid that played Star Fox that just wanted to play video games and have fun?
Oh, like N_GameMaster_64.
Yeah, he shows up and he's like, "Oh, wowie zowie! I get to play video games with my God King idols, Tad and Alex." And we just rip him a new asshole. Like, I can call you a dumb fat little baby bitch, Alex, but that's because you know me and I know you, and there's no genuine baby fat dumb bitch feelings there.
Oh, also, speaking of ripping on your friends, I had a little bit of an issue where remember when I named you on Steam with your custom name?
You'll have to refresh me, Alex. You have to say it on the podcast here out loud.
So it may or may not have been the F slur. So I called Tad
There's several. How gamer was it?
No, it was just that. It was just what you would call a homosexual person. But listen,
Alex?
No, listen, it's
established friendships.
Now listen. I can legally say that. However, when you stream that for your friends, you might want to get rid of that name, like I had to.
I did go back in my Steam profile. And one of the servers I was in, one of the TF2 servers, was a Homestuck server, and it was specifically a Homestuck server with my other old Homestuck friends, like 2013, like old shit, before any of the podcast stuff. And my names, you can check my previous names on Steam. Out of context, those names were pretty bad.
I have like one bad one as well, but I thought it was funny was I was streaming for my friends on Discord, my associates I call them. You showed up as the top duels of all of my friends. It's just the F word, and he's just like, "Oh yes, nice. Who's that?" I'm like, "That's Tad." I'm like, "Why is he named that?" I'm like, because I named him that. So I went and changed your name to Big Smelly Willy now.
Your name on Steam for me for a long while was a reference to that one griefing video where it was the big faggot who free kills people.
No. Anyway, welcome to our BitChute channel. We've been canceled from YouTube.
But anyway, as I was fucking saying, the names I had were really, really bad, so I went back there and I just changed my names to be Nothing to See, Hear, Smile, Face, and then I changed it back to Let Me Tad You About.
I know, but I want to go back to the riffing thing, though, because, like, see, I can call Tad that on Steam, and it's kind of funny, though, because we know each other for a long time. But, like, I've known my friends for a while. but I don't 2 hours straight roasting know them for an hour. Even Comedy Central roasts don't last that long. There's a limit. My patience wears thin. There's a point where it's not a joke anymore, and I just don't think you guys respect me very much.
They did the exact same thing to me, and I just went, you know what? I'm just gonna leave this server. I don't want to be around these fucking people. I miss KK, I miss Gutsu, and I miss the other one. Those are the only 3 people that were tolerable in your Discord server. But yeah, Jackbox, I think what it is that they chum the waters. They make it really easy for someone to poke fun at someone, and then everyone laughed at that and voted for that. So I'm gonna build off on that on mine, and then it just fucking. I've seen it happen like 3 or 4 times. But speaking of Jackbox again, some of the Jackbox games are really, really good. Some of them are really bad. You might have played TeeKO, where you design t-shirts. Have you played that one?
Yeah, I played that one.
That one fucking sucks. It is a badly made game. So my problem with TeeKO is it's fun for the first like 2 or so games, and then after that, you start to see the problem. So let's say someone makes a funny shirt. Like, there's a shirt that I made in one of them that was really funny, where it was just, someone didn't understand the game, so it was it was like A, and then 2A, then 3A's. It was just like a really shitty Joker. And that was really, really funny. So you have this funny shirt, oh, that wins. And then it goes up against another funny shirt. Oh, the Joker one's still funny. And then it just gets progressively less funny as like the tournament goes on, because you keep seeing the same joke again and again and again.
Yeah.
It takes like, they give you way too much time to draw. They give you like 10 fucking minutes, and then you draw another one, and then you draw another one. And one round will take fucking forever, and you only see like one joke constantly. It's a bad game. Now, Champed Up, that one fucks.
That's basically just the t-shirt one improved with the little like boxers, right?
It's much more improved. So what it is, it's in the newest one. What it is you are given a title, and it's like, draw the champion of, what was the one I got? Champion of bad fiction. So I'm like, oh, easy. And I drew Andrew Hussey, right? And then you have to draw an underdog, where it just says, this guy is going to be fighting the champion of, and then like, it was like someone else's character. So the champion of, jumping really high or something, right? So I draw a character that I think would be better or be able to beat that other character. And then that's it. You just have those 2 drawings, then you're done. And then it pairs up the characters. And then what you can do is you can opt to tag them in for your other character. Like you can swap them in and out. And it just goes by a lot faster. And it is funnier to have... it opens more opportunities to get goofs out of your drawings, because you get to put one drawing under multiple labels. I have Andrew Hussey as like, let's say he comes in there and he is the champion of bad fiction, and then there's the champion of starting fires, and I could put Andrew Hussey in there again. I can tag out and be like, boom, because Homestuck's a dumpster fire, right?
Yeah. I've actually played this one. I have played the newest one.
So Champed Up is very good. That's a solid one. Quiplash, I don't know why, I'm just really bad at Quiplash. You come up with a funny goof and you have like 50 seconds to do it, and I just can't do it for some reason. I've never gotten higher than like 3rd place in Quiplash, dude. It goes against my brand.
Just chum the waters, find the easiest work.
Find the weakest person in the room and just tear them limb from limb. Did you play the house one with the demons?
Yes, I played that one. I have no idea what I'm doing in that one. I'm just clicking buttons, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I appreciate the Jackbox people being like, okay, this is game number fucking 7, guys. Let's try something a little bit different. So, same controller scheme where you got, on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, whatever. And you're given little tasks, You try and do household chores, clean the dishes, or do whatever. And you go through all that, and you play it like a normal game on your phone. And I like a more active game than one where you do something and then you wait. I appreciate them having it in there with all these other games. Did you play the presentation one on there? Because that is my favorite one.
That's where you just do like an improv skit, right?
Yeah, you're it's you, and then you have an assistant, And so you go up there and you go, "Hi, my name is, Tad from Let Me Tell You About, and my presentation here today is on," and you press the clicker, and then it'll just have something on there. It'll have some weird
someone else put up there for you.
Yeah, and then you try and come up with you just improv a speech through it, and you've only got so many minutes.
I was really bad. I'm not good at improv, so I hated that one.
I was really good at that one, but I was terrible at quiplash. I think maybe I overthink my quiplashes because I'll always oh, I got a really funny idea, and it's really in depth and really intricate. It's like playing Cards Against Humanity, and you do a really funny layered joke, and then someone just plays hot cheese. Hot cheese always wins. Fuck.
Okay. Hold on. Speaking of Cards Against Humanity, I have this bit of pettiness that I didn't win when I had the greatest fucking setup ever. I specifically remember the line was "I can't believe my blank ended with my blank." Right, that was the setup, and I had "I can't believe this my ether-soaked rag led to my very first kill." And it didn't win. It got second place. That was so fucking dark and so fucking funny. And it lost to hot cheese and Cheetos or some shit, right? I was fucking furious. And it's been 5 years and I still remember losing that. I saved those cards just for that slide, Tad. I was hanging on to them.
Listen, and this is directed to everyone listening to this right now. Every single person has had that happen in Cards Against Humanity, where you have something really fucking funny and it's awesome and it works on multiple layers, and you lost to oh boy, I can't believe my penis ended on my dick,
or they
I want you to send me either on the email, which is letmetellyouabouttt@gmail.com. That's letmetellyouabout spelled with 3 T's, because otherwise it wouldn't fit. Or through the Twitter, or the Discord, or the YouTube comments. Tell me your Cards Against Humanity swan song. Tell me what it was.
I also hate the card where it's I think it's fucking Bill Clinton naked spinning around firing a machine gun or whatever. They'll just throw that one away just to get free win.
That's so epic bacon awesome sauce. That's so Rick and Morty.
Did you know Cards Against Humanity is voted the most annoying thing to bring to a party? It beat the acoustic guitar a couple of years ago.
Hold on, I gotta search Cards Against Humanity, Rick and Morty. Game against Rick and Morty, made in Vietnam. Buy more at boxgamefun.com. Oh, I'm gonna read off some of these ones, okay?
Okay.
This is good. Blank and blank with blank, two brothers, the movie. And then the answer card they have for that is Rick's bald spot glistening in the morning sun. These are terrible.
Okay.
Being like Family Guy, except being actually funny and entertaining. These are so bad. They're 3 cards. In another quick mystery, blank kills blank with blank. Ugh. Despite the horrifying landscape of Dream Bedrock, what, is that a thing? Their high school has wonderful courses in blank. These are fucking awful, dude. I'm really tempted to buy this for $30. Oh, here's another really funny game against Rick and Morty one. It just says, originally Rick was supposed to be much closer to blank, but Adult Swim thought that would encounter bad reception. And then this card just says, "Oh, Radiant Tower's getting hit, Morty. You really gotta stop that. Radiant Tower. Oh, the Dyer got the thing, Morty. Oh, Morty."
Was that all in one card, or are you just fucking around?
Half of that was on a card. I did just continue it, though.
I imagine it was just a little, tiny fucking text all to fit on the one card.
I was really expecting you to laugh or do something, and you didn't, so I just kept going.
I did.
Listen.
Tad, it's Rick and Morty. It's not funny.
Anyway, you keep talking. I'm going to look at the Amazon reviews for this.
Oh my fucking god, Tad. Okay, listen, what I was trying to say, we got the start of Cards Against fucking Humanity and Rick and fucking Morty with video games. Another thing I was doing, we got this from fucking video games. How the fuck did we get to this part? with video
Oh my
games.
god. I'm sorry, I just want to say this one review and then we can go back.
Oh my fucking god.
This review from Catherine, spelled in no way like how you would expect the word the name Catherine to be spelled. Apparently the ink on the cards, both the coloring, like the white, the blue, and the letters, will just flake off. If you like shuffle the cards, it just fucking peels off like card dandruff.
Made in Vietnam.
Yikes. Anyway, as you're saying about video games?
So what I was saying is another game that I've been playing instead of doing actual podcast work is I went back to just playing motherfucking Team Fortress 2.
The greatest game on the planet.
I was playing Monster Hunter Rise, but I hadn't even gotten to high rank in Monster Hunter Rise because after playing Apex, I've actually been in this weird buzz to not even really play Rise, but just to shoot shit, you know? You know when you're in a mood for a specific genre of games, you said that craven?
I have one game on my computer that I play when it's just like, man, I just want to fuck shit up and feel invincible. And it's called The Darkness 2. You play as like a guy who looks suspiciously like the "my name is not important," like the school shooter guy, but he has like these two like eel tentacle arms, and what you do is you just fuck people up and then you send them out to rip their hearts off and shit.
Yeah, I know the
It just makes you feel powerful.
And it feels pretty good going back because what I've done is I'm not doing casual because casual is infested with bots and shit. Instead, I've been going to the community servers.
Bots, yeah.
I've been going to community servers, and even Tad jumped in on this. So there are two servers I basically play on now. One of the UncleTopia servers, which are basically Uncle Dane's servers, where it's, you know, like specific, like, not stock maps, but like official maps, basically. Official maps, no fucking spread, no random crits, and only 3 of a class in each team. I actually really like the 3 of a class on each team thing.
Don't forget, it's 12v12, normal respawn, and no sprays. No gay sex sprays!
Now, I don't agree with no sprays, Uncle Dane. However, no damage spread is fine. That's fine. I play with a bunch of servers like that. No random crits? Okay, I played some casual with Tad 3 times. I rode my Power Jack out to a scout. The literal first swing, Power Jack crits, one-shots the scout. I'm like, yeah, I earned that. They're funny, but they can fuck off.
I said this earlier and I didn't really elaborate on the comeuppance. For those who don't know, there's a problem in Team Fortress 2 now, because it's free to play. It's been free to play for a fucking decade. But now there are these bots that are in the casual game mode, where you just hit casual, you select the, you know, play whatever, and it just puts you into a Valve server. There's these teams that will call themselves the combots, and they all play sniper, and they all, like, crouch and look upwards, and then they, like go up and crouch, so it looks like they're humping the air, right? And they will spin around at Mach speed and then headshot you and then go back to spinning around. And they're just called Combot, all of them. So Team Fortress 2 is almost unplayable right now if you go to the official servers. You have to go to community servers.
Yeah, but another server that I went to with Tad, he took me to one of the Furry Pound servers.
It was the only one that was active at the time.
Okay, here's the thing. Going through the community list, there's not a lot of servers up. Even my old server from when I was a kid ain't even around anymore. It's pretty much some Skyle servers, which are like playable, but they're like, commands, free items, instant respawn. Like they'll play high tower, but turn off the payload and just become a deathmatch mode, right? That's fun for a little bit, but I want to play actual maps. You know, I want to play fucking Badwater and do the actual objective. So I gotta go to Uncle Dane pretty much. And there's also Faceit, but I watched a bunch of videos about how Faceit's really bad, so I'm not getting the Faceit app. I'm not letting it mine bitcoins for my fucking system.
Ugh.
So I've been playing with just UncleTopia, and then, ironically, the Furry Pound server is not terrible. Going to the Furry Pound servers, it's a relic, Tad. It's where you can go to get the authentic Team Fortress 2 like 2008 experience. The wall was plastered with cropped porn, uncropped porn, and that fucking image,
memes.
That image of SpongeBob's facing through the fucking wall, which I thought was an actual good spray.
Oh, for the metal SpongeBob is.
Yeah, but the Furry Pound servers have 24 players. They still have random crits and random spread. And stock maps only. So you're actually getting, and with sprays allowed, you are unironically getting authentic, old school Team Fortress when you're playing with the Furry Pound. Credit where it's due.
I recommend.
Good server.
I recommend Fucked in the Head. It is a game server that is only played by boomers. It is only people who are 25 and up. That's not like a rule that you have to be 25 or up, but it's 25 and up. 32 players, fast respawn, no crits, no damage spread, but they have fucking crazy maps like Trainsaw Laser and Lolcano and fucking Wub Wub Wub, where the stage turns into a spaceship and launches you through space and it starts playing fucking dubstep and all these fucking crazy effects on your screen.
Yeah, I played that one. I like that server. I like that map.
Team Fortress 2 is the greatest video game ever made.
But I was thinking about Team Fortress 2, and it made me start thinking of something. Like, a lot of these multiplayer games come and go. Like, even Overwatch, with all of its hype, and it did very well. As much as I don't like Overwatch, as old fans of the podcast would know, I can admit it had very good marketing and did have very good sales. But why did it die? Why did it die so fast? And, like, why does it need a sequel and still hasn't gotten that sequel? And why does it take 10 minutes to get into a fucking match when Team Fortress 2 takes me literally 5 seconds? Even casual, as bad as it is, instant. Why is Team Fortress 2 still alive when it came out in 2007? And there's a big thing about that. I've been looking about it. Originally, it didn't have matchmaking. It was server only. You had to either go to an official server or go to a community server. That's it. You had complete control over your own product. Team Fortress 2 has all of its custom maps. Still has custom maps being made, by the way. Its community hats and shit were added a little later. But because you go to these communities with their own maps and rule sets, though, look at me and Tad were just talking about. We have different servers with different rules, different spreads, different crits, and like the class limit. Not every server has a class limit, though. I personally I've felt felt engineer spam. I'm okay with three of each class. But, because you can completely change the game the way you want, you can basically get whatever kind of game mode you want. And there's also the alternative game modes that people make, like versus fucking Saxton Hale and shit, or the achievement servers and the trade servers and all this shit. You can't get a customized experience in Overwatch. You play fucking quick play or fucking ranked or whatever, especially with the role queue. You have to play the game the way the devs, aka Blizzard, are putting a gun to your head and forcing you to play. You don't have an option. Like, if I want to go fuck around with the furries on the furry pound server and see all the crop porn sprays, I can do that. I'm not forced to go to the furry pound. I'm not forced to look at their sprays. I have to put a gun in my own head. I have to choose to go and play with these guys. This is the community. You separate themselves into their own little communities. Say, I want to play on a no crits, no damage spread, 3 Klansman servers, I go to Uncletopia. I want to fuck around in an endless death match on 2 fort or high tower or higher tower, go to Skyle. I want to pretend to be a pro, get a Bitcoin miner, and go to Face It. Like, you have complete control over what you do, and the communities, like, they foster themselves in their own sub-communities and shit, and you meet people when you play. Like, all of my friends on my Steam list, okay, well, 90% of them are from when I used to play Team Fortress 2 as a kid on the Rabbit Hole server, which, no, was not a furry thing. They had to say that every time.
The other 10% of your friends are just named racial slurs.
Yeah, it's like Tad. But, like, but
I know what you're talking about with this. When I joined my Boomer server, I know, okay, this dude whose name is like fucking Dig Dug, don't fuck around when he's playing soldier because he will destroy my ass. I know that he's a really good soldier. I have to avoid him at all times. Or if he's on the enemy team, I can only play Pyro. This was that part of that thing with the Team Fortress 2 hats, what it kind of led to, where like, or in the dueling token stuff, and dominations and revenges and all this, is that certain players in Team Fortress 2 in a server you will recognize them, like, oh, this soldier that has this specific hat and stuff, he's this kind of player, I need to back the fuck away from him, go on his name, his avatar, all that kind of shit gets associated with different people's play styles. Something I wanted to say, though, about Overwatch is that Overwatch does have custom servers, and they do allow you to really fuck with them. By changing the attributes on abilities, right? By changing cooldowns, damage, player health, player whatever, team sizes. But the attitude of Team Fortress 2 was encouraging community servers to be like a thing. You could just join a community server, you could put it in your favorites list, it would always be up because it's hosted off-site. With Overwatch, it's dedicated servers. So there's no Skyle.OW Overwatch server that's always running Route 66. That's not a thing because Blizzard doesn't allow that to be a thing. As far as I'm aware, I don't I am talking a little bit out of my ass because I have not double checked these, but I'm pretty sure that's not what the custom ones are. It's like how League of Legends has those custom maps or the custom servers you can play on.
You can do custom game rooms, yes. But then
to play in those, I gotta have 10 fucking friends. No one's gonna join that because you play League of Legends by going to the queue list, you sign up as whatever of your 2 roles, and then you go. Or Overwatch, you just hit casual and you get your loot box, and then you're done with your chores for the day, right?
Yeah, and what I wanted to say with the community things is that when I'm queuing up into matchmaking like League of Legends or Overwatch, I meet like Jimmy, Johnny, and I actually played with Sky Williams once, and from the famous, notorious Sky William house on Overwatch in a game competitive. Yeah, I played with him once.
That's sick.
Yeah, I played with him once. We lost, by the way. He was playing Reaper. It was King's Row and we lost. I still remember like, oh hey Sky, where's Donkey? He's like, oh I think I said Donkey's real name, which I forgot. It was like Jason or something. It's like, oh he's like asleep right now or something. Yeah, we'll probably like make a video or something like later. Because Sky has like that really like high pitched kind of like homosexual like stereotype voice.
Huh.
Well, spoilers, he's actually gay. But anyway, I played with Sky. But I played with Sky once. I have never played with Sky Williams ever again. I met Sky, done, over. But I can play with, say, Johnny, the fucking pro MLG scout on Uncle Dane's fucking Los Angeles server. And I forget his name off the top of my head, but I've been seeing him with his fucking like little hat every fucking game. He's a really fucking good scout. And I play with him a lot, and I'm learning a lot about Scout from just playing with fucking Jimmy over here, because I see him all the fucking time. I'm starting to recognize the people from the Uncle Dane servers.
Just because, a true community server.
Yeah. You don't get to make connections. You don't get to make friends. You don't get to do any of this shit. You get to hang out with these guys for like 1 game, maybe 2 if you get accidentally queued up with them again in say League of Legends, which is a huge coin flip if you liked playing with those guys. Probably didn't. But like you've essentially with matchmaking, you've essentially killed the social aspect of playing a multiplayer game, which is a huge flaw in design because humans in general, I'm going to start getting science with this. Humans are sociable creatures, but you've essentially fostered a type of game where I don't want to socialize with my enemies. You mention every time you queue up in game in League of Legends, and it's in Apex too, and it's in fucking League and shit, and Overwatch and all this shit, the ability to mute my teammates is immediate. It always brings that up first. You specifically don't want me to talk to these people who could potentially be my friends or my greatest fucking enemies. You do not want me to engage with these other people. You just want me to play your fucking game, buy your fucking loot boxes, and immediately go to my next game and just play like in an endless loop. I do not like the current multiplayer game design. There's a joke that Donkey of all fucking people said, where the bar of multiplayer games is so low, people are willing to play fucking Valorant. But we're talking about these older playing these older games. I thought of this really weird question because I've seen this come up a lot in a lot of just random like video game videos and like community discussions. But do video games age? I don't think games age as poorly as people actually think they do. Like there's certain aspects that do. Obviously, I think like I was hanging out with my friend, right? He's been playing Final Fantasy VII. He played the remake because it was free on PSN, so he just played it, and he's never played Final Fantasy before. So he played it, he thought it was whatever, but he wanted to go play the original to see how it compared. And he normally doesn't like a lot of old games. He's not like he's around the same age as us, but he hasn't been gaming nearly as much as we have. He was mostly like a studying kid.
He's not one of us game boys.
Yeah. He didn't really start like really gaming until he was like a teenager, So there's a lot so even though he's around the same age, there's still a lot of things that he hasn't tried out. But I mean, admittedly, I haven't played Final Fantasy VII either, so what am I fucking saying? I played Nintendo shit. But he played through that game, and after he played through the whole thing and beat it, he told me that it is one of his favorite RPGs he's ever played. Even though he's playing like a 20-something-year-old game, still has the same old graphics and everything, this old-ass game, to him, is now become one of his favorites, up there alongside the Paper Mario games and the Mario and Luigi games. So he's kind of like, he has similar taste to you, pretty much, right? And that really stuck out to me.
Chad taste, correct taste.
That stuck out to me that like a guy who normally doesn't play these types of games, normally doesn't play old games in general, would still say that. That proves that game, through all of its old design quirks, still holds up. And another video I was watching was a guy who was playing this racing game. It was one of the Gran Turismo games, I think, where he would always get questions. He did a poll. He did a poll of like, when do you guys think gaming was at its peak, right? And a bunch of people said in the like early and mid 2000s. And so he's thinking to himself, like, okay, well, was this because a lot of these people are in their 20s and so when they just played games as a kid? Or do people really think that that's like when the best gamings were created? So he put it to the test. He compared these racing games, Gran Turismo. It's a really long-running series, you know, of all these racing games. He compared the newest one, which was like in 2018 or whatever, to one that came out in 2004.
So he went through the list of these games and looked at all their critic and user reviews for each one.
Yes.
And went through to find it.
Yes.
Okay. That's pretty interesting.
But when he played them, though, and there's something he really said. I sorry to interrupt you, but I really wanted to say this because it's really important to like modern game design.
I'm trying to do the segue, goddammit!
I was fucking saying what he found out about old games compared to newer ones from 2000s and like before is they had way more features. He played the game and he was surprised. He said he was taken back by how much shit you can unlock and do without having to be paywalled by everything. And he was starting to actually side with the viewers in the poll that he thinks gaming might have actually just been better in the 2000s.
I have some thoughts on that too, specifically about Ocarina of Time in regards to my 7-year-old nephew. But we'll get right back to that. We're gonna take a short break. I'm going to shill some amazing product, and then we'll be right back with you guys. Listen up, my fellow tabletoppers, or dicey boys as we call ourselves in our community. I've got a podcast you should listen to. It's called Adventuring 101. It's a Dungeons & Dragons actual play podcast where 4 misfits from across the world of Faerun attended Adventuring Academy to obtain fortune and fame. However, they soon find out that their new school has a few more secrets than they bargained for. The cast consists of 4 students of the realms, Kazuma and Luna the Dragonborn, both with a shared past, Marin the amateur zoologist, and Bright Claws the wacky tabaxi. Listen in to a casual RPG night from the pre-COVID world as they quest together in Adventuring 101, available wherever you find podcasts. Okay, so that was an amazing shill. Good job, Past Tad. You fucking aced that one right in the hole. But as I was saying, Alex, Ocarina of Time's a really good example of this. When my nephew, last time I was around him, I was asking him what his favorite game was, and he was talking about the 3DS version of the Ocarina of Time game. And I'm thinking, I would have thought that his favorite game would have been something more recent that he's played. Like, I saw him play Roblox. He was showing me the red imposter and saying, this is the imposter sus guy from Among Us. And he was like running around in a tree for it, and he kept locking himself in a cage. I don't know. Looking at Roblox as a 26-year-old man, soon to be 27, June 17th. Don't forget it, listeners at home. That shit looks like what they would have video games be in an old sitcom. I had no idea what was happening. There was just shit everywhere.
It's like an episode of CIS or whatever, or CSI. It's like, apparently this young psychotic kid would play violent video games like Roblox, deathmatch servers. And they would just show Roblox, and it just looks fake.
Commit, not alive.
Oh my god, hold on. Brief segue. Have I talked about the Cyberklansman video game?
The what?
The Cyberklansman video game from fucking like NCIS or so. It's one of the 18 crime dramas that all bleed together on fucking Ion
Cyberklansman.
So I was watching.
Right. Please tell me that it is like styled. Like I'm assuming this is a fake video game of the show. Please tell me it's styled like Doom, where there's like a gun in the middle and you're like jumping around, you're shooting racists.
No, it's more like a really shitty low budget, made in like a week because it's a fucking crime drama.
A Unity asset flip.
Unity asset flip GTA looking game. Okay, so let me explain. It was one of the Criminal Minds, Blue Bloods, NCIS, they all bleed the same. I watched a lot of Ion television
Anatomy.
I watched a lot of Ion television at work before they removed the channel because all the crime shows kept showing too much rape shit, so they turned it off at work.
That's fair.
Understandable, but I wanted my crime dramas. I can't watch Hawaii 5-0 anymore. I can't watch Bones
You know,
anymore.
Alex, you have the wild world of the internet at your disposal.
Yes, but I was watching it on TV at work. Anyway, point is, because crime dramas kept getting way too rapey,
Where was Sven Gulli? He could have saved us.
I watch Sven Gulli at work now more. Thanks, I have to watch him now. Anyway. I have two. There are two paths. Rape
You have
dramas.
to watch the rape TV, or Sven Gulli will have to comment on another black and white movie again.
The illusion of choice. Rape infested crime drama. Sven Gulli.
In the middle. Listen, listeners at home, someone please make that. Rape and crime drama, the illusion of choice. Sven Gulli.
So
I'll expect that on my desk by fucking Monday.
So anyway, it was a show about like violent video games, one of those episodes, and the kid and like the dad were racist, and so they blamed the video games for turning him racist, and they're like, no, this kid's been hanging out on weird fucking forum boards and playing these weird games all about like killing black people and shit. And it's like, and they interview the kid, and he's like, man, it's just a video game. Like, look, you go around and you play as either as either a skinhead or a Cyberklansman. You go around shooting minorities and black people. And you play as this little shitty
Is this
model.
I Divide Cybermancy?
You play as this little shitty model of a guy. He runs over, he like kicks down a black guy and just starts kicking the shit out of him. And he's explaining to the black crime detective about how this is okay. And the episode, and also the dad, who's like also super racist or whatever, is like, oh, sorry, I don't call you black, colored.
Oh my God.
What do I even call you anymore?
Alex. That's fucked up, but please tell me that it's like one of those mobile game ads and the kid is like kicking one of the black, like kicking like some minority to the ground, and then his dad walks over and it's like a level 50 cyber demon boss. He's got a gigantic hood.
It wasn't that in depth. It was just like
this is how racism works. Boom, 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 boom.
It would be it'd be wise for you to join my clan with a Klansman, or like obviously I'm the better choice with like a cyber fucking with like a neo-Nazi guy. Those are your choices. Level 5 Klansman, level 60 Fuhrer. So anyway, the episode ends by the way with the kid like shooting somebody because it's a fucking crime drama. Anyway, point is that I don't even know where I started with this. It was just really fucking funny. I lost my fucking mind when he explained that to the black guy, who I think is Ice-T. Whoever
Cyberklansman.
He explains to Ice-T why like playing as a Cyberklansman or fascist and beating up minorities is okay, and it showed this shitty gameplay, and I like spit my fucking drink out. I was going wild until like the two other people who were there in the break room at work.
They're just trying to enjoy their meal. They're trying to play Sudoku. You just go, whoa, look at this video game on TV. That's so unrealistic.
He's beating up black people on TV. So anyway, now that we've been canceled and put to BitChute,
I already talked about Sam Hyde. It's over for me, Alex.
Okay, so anyway, speaking of fascism, here's why old video games were better.
Yeah, as we were saying. I don't know how we started talking about Cyberklansman and Sven Gulli.
Because it was talking about Roblox, because it's talking about video games, but you were talking about your nephew liking Ocarina of Time.
I know, Alex, that was a bit. You were supposed to move past it.
I'm trying to remember, dummy. I'm trying to keep.
You're talking about how games are better, and then I said my nephew played Roblox, and then he played Legend of Zelda, and then he thought it was very, very good.
I'm just trying to keep track of myself so I don't forget.
Oh, yeah, okay. I guess maybe I should run it back, because I didn't finish my thing about Zelda.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Alex. For once, I was wrong.
Let it be known. Pin it, everybody. Clip it. Chat. Clip it.
Anyway, so, yes, my nephew Lennon played The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time on his 3DS, and it was basically the same game, except they added some more modern conveniences to it They added a Sheikah stone that you could enter near Link's house in the woods and near the Temple of Time, and you could go in there and it would give you hints on like different parts of like dungeons and stuff. They updated the water temple to make it, fucking reasonable. They added these smaller things you can save at any point because, and that's mostly because it's on a 3DS, so you can fucking close the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they added these small little conveniences, or like if you buy the online subscription for the Nintendo Switch, you get the NES and Super Nintendo games. And when you play those, they have a rewind feature where if you fall on a pit, you could just hold I think it's like R2, and it'll just shoop. It'll Prince of Persia Sands of Time it and go badoop, and you can just move back a little bit and then restart from right there.
Mm-hmm. I know they have a save. I know on the Super Nintendo Mini, they actually came with a little emulator-styled save state system as well, too. Little conveniences like that. So what I've come to the conclusion of watching all these videos and going back and looking through old games that I have and all this stuff, I've come to the conclusion that certain mechanics and optimizations obviously do age. Like, say, tank controls have aged like fucking molasses or whatever. Aged like fucking milk. That's what I'm looking for. They've aged like milk. But actual game design and features and like levels and shit have not. That's why a lot of older games feel better to play. It's not nostalgia. They were not how to say this. The entertainment industry wasn't metagamed yet, where people have realized that they don't actually have to try to make money. They can just release an unfinished product, hype it up, slap some fucking the DLC on it, and it'll make money because they don't have to appeal to, say, 1 million people. They just need to appeal to like 1,000 people who will give them $1 million each.
It will, with older games too, there's a lot more people that will go back and play Super Mario World than they will play like Mega Caveman 4 or like some garbage shovelware, because there was a lot of, as the angry video game nerd has shown, there are a lot of games that were just bad, that just weren't good, that no one's going to remember 5-10 years after they came out, except people that are like super into games and shit, right?
Yeah.
There's games that come out now that are like that. And that's less because they're just bad, but because if you look on the Steam page, I don't know what the stat is. I want to say it's like 300 and something games get put on there every single day on average. There's so many games. I have fucking... Hold on, this is some good prepared podcasting. Let me click around on my computer here. I have like 2,000 games on Steam, and I've just been playing Binding of Isaac and Dungeons of Dreadmore. You know? There's so much shit that's out there that it's impossible to keep up with everything that's good. Maybe 10 years from now, people will be like, oh yeah, Binding of Isaac. Now that was a good game. Oh, I remember the brimstone. Oh, by the way, Binding of Isaac, there's an item that's called Horror Baby.
Nice.
I remember the Horror Baby. Good games rise to the top when you go back. If you look at GameCube games, if you look at PS2 games, there is an absurd amount of PlayStation 2 games, but there's like, if you give someone a PS2 emulator, what they're probably going to do is they're probably going to go and look at like a top 500 or whatever, and they're going to get Jak and Daxter, they're going to get Ratchet and Clank, they're going to get Burnout 3, which that game fucks, by the way. Burnout is a really good racing franchise because you crash your car and then you explode and you get points.
Yeah, I know that game. The game slaps.
But they're not going to remember what was the game that you bought at Walmart last year when I was over there?
Trigger Man.
Yeah, no one's going to remember Trigger Man.
No one's gonna remember Mr. Mosquito.
Well, Mr. Mosquito is weird.
No one's gonna remember like Snowboards Kids 98. They're gonna remember the big games.
If I ask Lennon about Snowboard Kids, he's just gonna stare at me like that picture of Bart where he was smashing the ketchup packets with the hammer. Just, huh?
Huh?
Anywho, we are fucking really easily distracted today.
We've
gone on like 4 tangents this episode.
That's good. We got good podcast material. That's what. Okay, so I want to finish
content to these ungrateful pay pigs.
So speaking of video games aging and shit, there's another thing that I wanted to talk about that's been discussed a lot, especially lately. And this is actually what I want to do the whole episode on. So I obviously do it an hour into the episode.
An hour in.
Yeah. So this is going to be, I guess, the last topic because we've just been going on for so fucking long. Gatekeeping. So I've been talking about a lot of people, and people who are at our Discord already know my stance on it because I talked about it in general at like 3 a.m. one night. So obviously everyone read it. Uh, uh, is gatekeeping okay? Or is gatekeeping bad? This has been going on for a lot of communities, and a lot of people making videos, a lot of people making internet posts. A lot of people have just been discussing, like, is this kind of this way you handle like interactions with other people into your fandom, which this isn't even specifically just video games. This also goes to like books or like your D&D group. Is gatekeeping okay? And I will gonna say, yes, it is. Gatekeeping is completely, perfectly fucking normal, and it should be encouraged. You, as a community, whichever community you are in, you have the right to say who or who doesn't get to come into your sanctuary, your temple, your area, whatever. Like, you're playing D&D. You're playing with, Jim, John, Jill. But then there's this fucking Derek guy. Derek's a huge fucking
guy.
Derek's a fucking asshole. He's creepy. He's loud.
The term, Alex, the term for that player is it's such an ubiquitous thing. It's literally just called that guy.
That guy.
That's all you have to say. Those two words. It's so ubiquitous. It's in the Discord rules. Where I just say, "Don't be that guy."
Yeah. But you don't like Derek now. If you were, say, a dumbass on Twitter, you would say, I'll let Derek play. Like, open your gate to Derek. I don't like Derek. Jill doesn't like Derek. Johnny and Jimmy don't like Derek either. The four of us don't like Derek. So we together, as our little community, all agree Derek can go fuck himself, and he's not allowed to play D&D with us. You have the right to do that. And this goes to broader things as well, with like your little fandoms, with your unit fandoms. If you don't like your Dereks, you can tell your Dereks to fuck off. You're not, gun to your head, supposed to let literally everybody in. Because that's just how you have people undermine you. That's how you have people just ruin shit. That's how you get your edgy AUs and your weird, really weird creepazoids who like to do these weird masturbatory fantasies with all your weird fictional characters and be really adamant about that and very toxic about it in your Discords.
Sound a little familiar there. This is if you have no if you don't gatekeep at all. I don't remember if you were the one that told me this or not. But the furry community.
Yes.
And I am talking out of my ass on this one because I really don't know specifics about it. So you could disregard my opinion. But if you do, I'm going to gatekeep you out of my podcast. And you're not allowed. If you disagree with me, you're not allowed to fucking listen to me talk anymore. But if you don't have a line in the sand where you go, hey, okay, you need to leave, then you have okay, something I'm a little bit more knowledgeable about. With furries, you just have people come in that are really fucking weird, and then they permeate your community, and now whenever anyone says they're a furry to me, I don't think, oh, they're just someone who likes anthropomorphic stuff. It's like, oh, things jump immediately to mind of like, oh, this is like a weird sex fiend. They might not specifically be one, but that is part of the community that they're willingly associating with.
They contaminate the community and set the bar and the opinion of everybody so low because you know the old thing of when humans are like pack animals, like tribal creatures, we copy what's around us, right? So when you allow this guy in, say he's making you let your Derek and he's making a big ass of himself or doing all the stupid shit, say the weird edgy AU fanficking stuff I was just talking about, right? That person now sets a standard that, oh, that's okay. That means I can do it too. Oh, they're
chumming the waters to bring Jackbox back.
I can do that too. You're essentially allowing these kinds of things to happen. With the furry community, it was really bad when you invited pretty much every weird sex fiend in. You started getting the weird diaper furs in there, or just the actual straight up bestiality animal fuckers in there. Because hey, we're all the same. We're all getting mocked on the internet, so we can let everyone in. Nothing bad could happen when we're this naive. Haha.
Speaking of which, I just want to mention this because Joe showed me this. A guy on YouTube, Toad McKinley. He has a video series called Uniquely Degenerate, which degenerate is a word. When I see that, I'm immediately like, oh, fuck, this is some like alt-right shit. He did this whole series called The Zoo Files, which is about the Zooier Than Thou podcast, which was a bunch of furries and zoo people. Do you know what that stands for, Alex?
Wait, it stands for something? I thought it was just people who fuck animals.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what zoo is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was gonna be like an acronym that I didn't know about or something.
Zany, out of the ordinary. and also we fuck animals, which is not. Listen, I'm gonna say that, Alex. I think you agree with me on this one. Let me tell you what podcast stands. Don't fucking rape animals. That's very bad.
Don't fuck your
That's
dog.
like commandment number 3, dude. But he did a whole series. It's called The Zoo Files. It's very, very interesting. It's like a crime drama actively being done on YouTube about exposing these zoo sadists. It's very it's engaging content. It doesn't make you like happy, but it is very interesting. But yeah, that's what happens when you don't have any gatekeeping at all. When you let anyone in, and then it ruins everything.
But I had another example of gatekeeping, if I may.
No.
Oh, okay, sorry. Well, anyway, the podcast is over now. No, okay. So,
I'm going to gatekeep your opinion, Ted.
Oh, no!
I'm going to make a gate, and I'm going to keep it in there, because I'm going to make this gate. It's going to go around in a big circle, and you're going to be trapped inside of it.
It's going to be a gate filled only with gamers. You might even call it a gamer gate.
It's about games journalism.
Did you know a bunch of 13-year-olds trolling people on the internet caused the Capital City riots? Woo! Anyway, so with gatekeeping, there's a really interesting example I thought of where it was I mentioned this once again at 1:34 in the morning, so obviously everyone read this. Was the Shaolin Temple. Now, there's this YouTuber on the internet, I think I've talked about before, called Rant, who has the greatest tagline for a YouTube channel. He is a former Shaolin monk turned video game reviewer.
This man sounds dangerously based.
How do you compete with a Shaolin monk when you review video games? So his gimmick, he's a very good channel. I suggest you guys check his stuff out. You've probably seen one or two of his Shaolin videos, because when you say life of a Shaolin monk from an actual disciple's perspective, it's got 8 million views for a fucking reason. People are really curious what these guys are like, and they're mostly stuck in China, you know? So his whole thing is like, he went to the temple. I'm not going to take his whole story. I'm not going to say the whole thing because I'd be stealing his content. Just go watch his own stuff. But when he's there, he talks about how at the temple things are really interesting because you're not alone. You think you're going to get away and like do some martial arts and like in a movie? No, there's people everywhere. There is tourists nonstop coming to the temple and just fucking around. It is actually super obnoxious. You're there training and there's just all these white people coming out and taking pictures of you and shit. It's a really interesting scenario. But while they're there are basically 2 sections of the temple. You got these guys called the Jian Shangdi, and you also have this other faction called the Cult or Die. And basically, the Jian Shangdi are these like spiritual guys, right? They're the monk half of the monks, right? The guys who will like sit around and pray and meditate for like 10 hours a day. They're the guys who are writing down the scrolls and shit. And then there's the Cult or Die are more of the actiony guys. That's what he was. Is they're the guys who actually do like the kung fu and shit. And what was interesting is what I noticed when you're there is that the Cult or Die are basically like, this might be really mean to say, but you essentially have to work there, right? Because you don't get to sit there for free. You have to constantly train to beat the shit out of you for your training, right, or whatever. So you have to do all these shows for all these people and these performances. It makes you feel like you're a carny almost, right? You go there, they give you a bed and they give you fucking food, but then they make you fucking work for by doing weird shows for free, essentially, in front of a bunch of tourists. It's a really weird scenario there. But with the Jan and the Coulters, they're like together, but they don't really get along that well. And the head monk guy who was with Ryan at the time was named Rimina. And Rimina like would mention that tourists would bug the fucking Jian all the fucking time. Because they're like, oh man, can I like pray with you and hang out and shit? And the Jiang Shangdi fucking hated them. Because it was a hugely disrespectful thing to like go up to these guys and sit there for like a day and then just fuck off. That just means that you didn't give a shit about like their religion or their way whatsoever. And so they would gatekeep you from joining. You would only join them if you could, 1, prove you actually cared, would do all the things right, and would actually come to their fucking meetings at like 4:30 in the fucking morning and pray all fucking day, and do all the rituals and shit. They were super fucking strict. And they are completely in the right to do that. I'm going to compare gatekeeping fan bases to a literal fucking Shaolin monastery, because they're right. They have the ability to tell you to not join them if they want to, because a lot of people who want to join the Shaolin monks just want to join the Shaolin monks because it's cool, not because they actually want to be a Shaolin monk, let alone one of the more spiritual monks. You know what I mean?
So if you're a big Shaolin monk, you're like, this is my thing. I am fully invested in this. I work very, very hard on this thing. I care about this deeply. And then people show up and they're like, oh, dude, this is fucking poggers. They take like a Snapchat selfie, like when you're trying to sit there and fucking meditate. To compare this to another situation that fell apart because they did not gatekeep. There's this webcomic that I used to read in the past. And because the community just was full of people who were whatever, you know, I'm a fan of this show, whatever. I'm a fan of this comic. I watched a couple of YouTube videos, but I'm super into it. And the people that were like really, really into it started getting outnumbered by these people because there was no gatekeeping. You know, no one was like, hey, you're not a true fan, which that's also a fucking problem. Well, I'll talk about that in a second, I guess. But these people eventually outnumbered the hardcore fans of this unnamed webcomic I used to read, and things just got worse from there as you pandered to the larger group, and everything fell apart.
So
now,
you
where
mentioned
gatekeeping is bad, though, Alex, is now the example from earlier about that guy Gregory or whatever, right?
Derek.
So gatekeeping can be bad when it's people that are smelling their own goddamn farts all the time.
I know the word you're looking for. It's elitist.
That is it. Elitist. Elitism fucking blows.
Now, I was talking about this one too. So I have a good bit. You keep going, but when you're done, let me know.
No, I'm out of that bit. I just realized like halfway through that sentence, and I'm like, I don't actually really have a good example for this one.
Oh,
thank you, Alex, for saving me.
Oh, okay, good. So there's a big difference between gatekeeping and elitism. Being a snobby elitist is basically propping yourself up and saying that people should go to your standards rather than the community standards. A good example of this is actually, say, the Persona games. Persona has a lot of really interesting... So Persona of itself is already a spin-off of SMT, which is already a big community splitter in the first place, because of mainline fans and Persona fans, but they're off to their own thing. SMT fans would say, play a real Shin Megami Tensei game and call you not a real SMT fan, but there's very few people who would play Persona and call themselves an SMT fan. Hell, they don't even have SMT in the title anymore since Persona 5. They just got rid of it. It's basically its own fucking series now. The only thing that's comparable is that they have the demons... They just reuse the assets of the demons from the SMT games and from the PS2 games and just, keep using them. But with Persona, like, if you play, say, Persona 4 or 5, that's the only one you've played, would you call yourself a fan of the entire series or just that specific game? And that's the big conundrum, where a lot of people will say they're a big Persona fan, and they just won't have played any of the fucking games. They'll watch a YouTube video, watch a couple funny clips or something. It's really bad with 5, because 5's the newest one, Especially because Joker got into Super Smash Brothers. It got really bad. So you have all these fake fans going around saying that they absolutely love this thing even though they never played it. And so people would rise up and start being like, well, hold on a minute. You haven't done this, and this. You can't call yourself a Persona fan. And that would constantly get bigger and bigger. Where if you haven't played, all 7 of these really, really long, 60-hour long JRPGs, you're not a real fan. Saying you're a real fan is basically you just being a little bitch. What you should do is, so your barrier for inviting someone into your gate should be something like, let's use Persona, like say, just play the game. Just literally play and beat one of them, whichever one it was, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, or the Q games. Well, I don't know about the Q games. It should be a main one. That should be it as their kind of introduction. Because when you join a fandom, you don't just... You're not a born super fan, right? Like, you have to naturally get through a whole piece of media. We have to read through a whole book, watch a whole movie, watch a whole series, or play a whole game. You have steps, right? You don't just climb to the top of the fucking mountain. So you can't ever say that real fan thing. Another one that's really bad... so what were we going to say?
There's an old comic I've seen for years where it's some person is reading a comic book. It's a 4-panel comic. The first panel is someone's reading a comic book, and then there's another guy reading a comic book. And then the first person stops reading and starts making like a really elaborate costume and doing all this other stuff. The other person just keeps reading the comic. Then the final page is them at like a convention. They're dressed up as this character that they read in a comic they really, really enjoyed. The other person's like, hey, you're a fake fan. You haven't consumed as much of this media as I have. You're not a true fan. This is you're the kind of person ruining the community, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
See, that's bogus though, because they're still expressing their love for something. They're going out, they're making an effort for it. And again, it's baby
They're putting
steps.
in a comparable amount, more effort if you really want to get down to the nitty gritty of it, but they're putting in an effort that is about equal to someone going through and perusing all of this shit. Like, they like this thing enough that they're going through all these different trials and tribulations to show that they give a shit about this. Just not in the same way that you did, Mr. Elitist Fart Sniffer.
Yeah, and this is also a really case-by-case basis based on the series. Example, like, playing, say, All These Nights, as an example, has 2 entire video games, but Persona has this huge series that's also split off from another, right? And a perfect example of this, and actually, we probably should have just opened with this one, Star Wars. There's a lot of Star Wars nerds out there. There are
Star Wars fan meets mortal enemy. Other Star Wars fan.
Yeah, because you have, there's so much media for Star Wars. There's books, movies, games, fucking TV shows, these cartoons. Again, what is a Star Wars fan? Is it someone who just likes Star Wars content? Is it someone who's literally read every single Star Wars lore book, including the pre-Disney ones?
Dragon Ball Z. I've never read the manga. I can remember half of the anime, but I've played a lot of the Budokai games. I played Fighters. I haven't 100% in Dragon Ball Fighters. I haven't 100% in Budokai, but I'd call myself a Dragon Ball fan. I've watched the show. I've watched the movies. I've done all that stuff, but I didn't consume all of it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. True fan, when you're a community, you have to have your set of rules. We've been talking about this for a while now. You have to have your rules, and one of them has to be a specific barrier of entry. Should be a complete consumption of whatever that media is, or at least, say it's a TV show, at least one season of it, right? There has to be a sort of beat the first level, right? You have to get through the door with some kind of credential, and then you can move on and become a bigger fan after that. But never say, don't ever be an elitist and say a true fan based on the amount of total time consumption, because that's bogus. That is just you making competition and creating a form of adversity within your own community, and it will only lead to bad things. And that's the kind of really fine line you have to kind of balance and teeter on when it comes to this kind of community interaction. You have to balance between, creating these rules, but not being a goddamn Star Wars fan about it, not being a music nerd about it, right? That has to be Star Wars fans easy. Just watch one set of the movies. Because the movies are short. They're 2.5 hours at most, right? Watch the original trilogy or the prequel trilogy. Just watch one of the trilogies and slap that label on you. You're a fan of that trilogy, and then enter and then grow up from there, right? That's your white belt before you get the fucking yellow belt, right?
Yeah.
So yes, gatekeeping is 100% totally fine. Should be encouraged. But you have to, as a community, get together and make your rules. There's actually a good community that does make rules. I just thought of a really good example. That's actually a lot of speedrunning communities. They make set rules for each of their categories.
Well, let's just say, Alex, there's probably a pretty good reason why the speedrunning communities are very, very good at making and following specific written out rules.
I was going to say because
things that have specific guidelines that tell you exactly how to react.
I was originally I thought for a second you were going to talk about how there's only some of them are really small communities, but then I'm oh, he's going for that bit, isn't he? Anyway, point is, TLDR, gatekeeping is completely fine. Just don't be a fucking Star Wars nerd and expect the only way to respect another person of your community is to compare them to you and your intense obsession with reading every single book and every item description ever. If someone beat Dark Souls and they liked it, I call them a fan. I wouldn't call them a lord nerd or a super expert, but they'd be a fan, and I would let them in, say, my Dark Souls Discord, right? Get it? That's the base level. Now, before we end this episode, there's one last thing, tiny bit, not even gonna take a minute, that I wanted to say is, Tad, I'm very disappointed in you that you didn't catch me with my joke, that with my sick reference when I was talking about the Cult or Die. The Jiangshangdi and Cult or Die are not the factions of the Shaolin Temple. That's from I Divine Cybermancy. Those are the two members. Of I. The Cult or Die, what you play as, are the Warhammer guys, or the Jiangshangdi are the Chinese and like Asian looking guys with the cool hats.
You must have had the biggest shit-eating grin on your face during that whole thing.
I did. I'm like, oh, he doesn't know. I literally called the head monk Rimina. That's Commander Rimina from I. That's the golden mask guy.
No, I'm a fake Shaolini. Ah! I'm gonna do the Tyler One thing, or just laying on the ground. I've lost, bros.
But yes,
I have to take my Shaolin fan badge off now.
You have to uninstall I, Tad. You don't deserve to play it anymore.
No, I didn't. Okay, first install it and then uninstall it. No.
But yeah, so that's my bit on gatekeeping that took an hour and 20 minutes to get to. I hope you guys like this episode.
Gatekeeping good. Just don't be a fucking dweeb lord about it, man. That's really a really good thing to add. That's a really good chaser. I don't know, whatever the word is. It's a good thing to have attached to any piece of advice. Is just don't be a fucking dweeb, dude. Just be normal.
Don't be a Star Wars nerd.
What's wrong with you? Why are you like this? I say shit like that to my cat. I phrase it the meanest way possible. In fact, I'm gonna turn around and tell him right now, why are you sleeping like that? Why are you so weird? Why can't you do anything right? Why are you wasting your fucking life podcasting at 26? Get a job! Anyway, you can find the show on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play. Fuck, I did it again. It's Google Podcasts. Also Spotify, which I'm not sponsored by Spotify, so I could say this. If you do not play premium on Spotify, you are worth less than nothing to them. They are Six Flags to you if you do not pay the fucking premium, dude. I was like, I'm driving home from work. You know what? I wonder if they have the Team Fortress 2 soundtrack on here. Oh, wowzers, they actually do. I'm going to hit play after 3 songs that changed to fucking Brental Floss.
Aww.
I definitely, in 2021, want to listen to the fucking song where it's like, what is it? It's like Toad is gay or something. I definitely want to listen to that. Thanks, Spotify. I did not specifically search for Team Fortress 2. I definitely wanted Brental Floss. Thank you. You're going to get my fucking $6 a month or whatever. That's definitely going to happen. What is going to happen, though, is that you, as a listener, you don't want to get locked out of this gate, do you? In that case, you better go listening to Adventuring 101, that cool podcast I was talking about earlier. It's a pre-COVID feeling Dungeons and Dragons game. It's very good if you like Revival of Dungeons and Dragons Real Play podcast. You will most likely enjoy Adventuring 101. I think that's all I got here. And honestly, I'm going to say it right now just in case I forget. And for some reason, I don't put it in there. I don't remember if I put the Six Flags thing in here. I might not have done that in the first place. I might have cut it all out. In which case, expect to hear that one eventually. But if it did get cut out, that'll be really fucking funny that it's not in there. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you guys in the next episode. I will be done with school. White Boy Summer, which, fuck, dude. I've just thought about it now. That could be like a super racist thing. I really don't know. I am co-opting, much like the character in Clerks 2, I am co-opting the phrase White Boy Summer. I'm taking it back. It starts Wednesday, May 12th. I'll be done with school for the semester. I'm going to pod the fuck out of these casts.
Hell yeah.
So, thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you later. Goodbye.